Disney is so hardcore. Let me see. Hopefully this doesn't get flagged. All right. Imagine how much better our collective body image views would be if we had grown up with this type of body diversity in Disney princesses. So if we had fat princesses, then yeah, wow, everything would be so great today. Everyone would be so happy. We'd have no problems if we drew fat princesses. Okay.
What's your name, fat body?
Okay. The problem is it wouldn't have gotten a lot of not as many people would have watched it. Pocahontas just looks normal. What is that? Cinderella is obese. I don't know. Who fucking cares? Enough. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. Representation matters. Oh, fuck you. Keep crying. The problem is these activists just want to complain about something, and instead of creating something for themselves, they realize that people don't want to see it. So make the cartoon. Look, make the obese cartoon. They tried doing Ghostbusters with chicks and it bombed because it was a terrible fucking movie. They always try adding in this woke shit, right? Add in all the representation you want. People don't want this nonsense. They want a good movie. They want a good movie with a story they want to see. This is just like, yeah, it's kind of old news. It's kind of old news. We've talked about it like a year or two ago, but it just keeps on coming back. This kind of shit keeps on coming back. I mean, make the cartoons. Make other cartoons with obese princesses. And yeah, if it takes off, then wow, look at you. You did a great job. I mean, mostly when you see these kinds of fat activists, they still want like a ripped, muscular man. So, people want what they want. Make the product in the market, see if it sells. If it doesn't, then, well, I guess people don't fucking want that. So make it. Cartoons are not real people. Thank you for playing. Representation matters, caption. It really, really matters. Representation allows people to feel valid, seen, included, and comforted. Oh, that's what we need. We need more comfort. We need people to feel more comforted. The joy of seeing a hero who looks like you is something many of us experience without even grasping just how lucky that is. Jesus Christ. Because many will never see someone who looks like them as the praised protagonist on screen, there is a huge lack of diversity in the traditional media. Well, there's nothing traditional about the media today, okay? There is plenty of everything on TV now. That's why most people don't watch it, because they don't want to be force-fed ideology, okay? They want good content. Most people don't fucking care if the person's black, if the person's blue, if the person's tall or short. They want a good fucking show, don't they? You want a good fucking show. You want a good movie. Make it good and people are going to fucking love it. Agreed? If you make a good movie, people are going to fucking love it. If it's good enough and you attract the viewer in, you pull them in, it's a good story and good acting and a good concept, people are going to fucking love it no matter what fucking color they are. Like if it's a good show or good movie, people are going to fucking like it. A good actor or good actress, if they're good, they're going to like it. There is a huge lack of diversity in traditional media, and it negatively impacts marginalized communities like racial minorities, LGBTQAI, XYZ folks, disabled people, women, and fat folks. The fat folks. Have you ever seen a fat Disney princess? No, and thank God. Scrap that. Have you ever seen a Disney princess who is not very thin? To clarify, there is nothing wrong with being thin, but when we only see thin, it becomes a problem. And let's take it one step further. Why are there so many fat villains in Disney? Well, because fat's not healthy and it's usually looked at as like morally questionable of how you treat your body and respect yourself. And yeah, it's like, it's not something to aspire to. How about that? You shouldn't aspire to it. If you have an accident or you have a real tragic event, let's say you get into a car accident, your thyroid gets removed and you have a lot of problems. Like, okay, most of these things are brought upon the individual. But some people have issues, very rare issues that, might lead to something like that. Okay. But it's not something to aspire to. So let's not promote it like it's like something that we want people to have. If they exercise and ate better, like it wouldn't even be a conversation. Ursula, the Queen of Hearts, Madam Min, who cares? Governor Ratcliffe. I don't want to read through all these fucking things. Yeah, all these movies, blah, blah. All villains, all fat, with common traits in these characters, including selfishness, greed, and cruelty. What does this teach children about fat people? I think it just teaches people about evil people. I also don't think it's something that's that bad. I don't think it's that much of a problem. If we're educating kids properly, evil is evil. There are a lot of like skinny evil people also in movies. The contrast is stark and clear and very damaging because representation also affects not only how we perceive ourselves, but how we perceive others too. Well, then maybe it's more that's lacking in other areas of our lives. And yeah, all right, maybe you should not have a princess with like a 12-inch waist. I mean, honestly, if you look and you see one of these cartoons, yeah, it's like ridiculously, but then you look at Superman and think about this. You don't talk about the other way. What about kids? What about boys? What about, you always look about, the fat phobia and fucking victims, right? So you talk about all these pussies that complain about everything. What about young men that are always looking at these fucking superheroes that are jacked out of their fucking mind? Seriously, what about young men? Right? We know that men commit suicide more. We know that men have a lot of problems. We know that men are being shit on in society, right? It's all the patriarchy and capitalism, blah, blah. Men and women create this world together. And when young men are growing up and seeing every fucking superhero, like kids can't fly, most of these bodies that superheroes have couldn't even be attained with anabolic steroids. Maybe a small genetic few with relentless training and anabolic would be like even close to looking like a superhero. And still, you're still a human. It's just flesh. So yeah, I mean, we're all comparing ourselves to other things. This really comes down to stop comparing yourself to others. Stop giving a fuck about what other people think. Live your life. Stop worrying about Disney princesses that were written 100 years ago and make some better content. Educate people better about being healthy. Don't delude themselves and be like, well, look, you're represented. Well, it's also your choice. It's also your choice. You shouldn't be make sure that you are. We're not talking about a racial thing. Quality, merit. If you're a good actor, if it's a good story, fucking make it. Sell it. If it's good, people will like it. Teach kids about health. Maybe they don't have to have a 12-inch waist, but you don't need to make them morbidly obese and be like, look, it's a good thing. That's not good either. You shouldn't swing that back the other direction.